And it really comes down to team chemistry, and they've shown it all year long. And fun fact here, we have Summit from my Otters playing for this this Wildside team in this game, so that's going to be fun to see.
We will have player interviews, everybody, after this game, of course, as always, with all the All-Star games today and tomorrow. Of course, the games today at 7, 8, and 9. So a little different from our normal schedule, but to make it easier, because these are going to be best of sevens, need a little more time. And already getting started here. We will change the team name back to the right one for Wildside in the orange. They're currently listed as Donda, but that is, of course, the independent team's name, so we'll fix that afterwards. But either way, Wildside had possession, giving it away to the Tides eventually. Not really worried all season long. I mean, these guys haven't been worried, and you wouldn't expect them to going into the playoffs, particularly after Stevie's team gets knocked out, who should have been the dark horse favorites. And speaking of which, Wildside and Stevie's boys will come through and score the first goal of this game.
It's going to be my boy Summit, too, coming down, picking that corner out beautifully, and that's a little bit of a misplay there. I also noticed on the Tides team, featuring Trail, they're playing Trail in game one, so that's nice to see that. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of four-man, possibly, depending on the way things go, for Wildside, 5-man rotation for this team, seeing that Summit is in. I don't know who he's replacing, if he's replacing anybody, but yeah, that could be a very interesting thing here. Seeing everybody get a nice equal play time as well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Stevie obviously not there for this Wildside team. You probably expect, after what happened yesterday, is a lot of the reason for that. You know, it was really unfortunate to watch and to cast, but Panda season is basically over. There's like the tiniest of hopes they get in. You know, for the Tides, though, what do you expect to see from them going forward, as, again, they do get scored on here? Trail is the problem, 18 points, obviously ruining this Tides momentum. But either way, the Wildside up 2-0.
That is... I gotta go back a second. Holy smoke, Summit! That save, crazy, off the little corner post crossbar and out, and then the transition play. Come on now, you can't be doing that. But that's a type of nasty play you love to see, even if it is on the defensive end to start here. You want to see more of those clips. That's what this series is all about.
Indeed, about having fun, about seeing these players in an unreal environment we're not going to get to see again. A lax view of what they can do just in an individual effort. You know, I honestly, All-Stars to me is kind of interesting, as Summit will come through with another save. I know a lot of people don't take it seriously, and so you begin to wonder if we should not have like talent competitions for like freestyle in or flicks or whatever we can do, rather than some of the All-Star gameplay and just name All-Stars. I don't know, what's your opinion on it, because I mean, even as casters, like, it's hard to, you know, get very involved in a game which you can tell that people are just having fun.
I think it's good. I think it's good, especially for the players and for the chat as well. You guys can get real riled up about the clips and stuff we see hit today. Yeah, I think it's just a good show to put on there, as Jericho able to put this one in the back of the net here from Trailblazer, getting on the board. You said he was a problem at the beginning, making a nice pass there just by Riotigold. Just by Cub, I believe, in the wall. And that's going to find its way through, and Tides trying to make a comeback here.
Yeah, and you know, knowing the Tides, and especially Radical's personality, I would imagine that they could come through and win this one, maybe try a little bit more towards the end of this game. And they have the potential, right? I mean, the Tides, 13-3, you wouldn't expect them to really get beat, and Trail is an integral part of this team as well. Off that Terrier squad, question mark, I think? No, wait, not the Terriers, I'm blanking on this. Hornets, there we go, Hornets, yeah. Who have come together. I mean, 11-5, definitely not someone we thought this Hornets team would be moving forward the rest of the season. I mean, leading their division over the Pandas, you know, so credit to him and the boys. They
pulled that through. Too. Nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a great back half of the season for the Hornets team, locking up that playoff spot as well with the loss from the Pandas. So, looking good on that front, and we'll see what they can do in playoffs, as they've had some good momentum as of late, and we'll see if this team can be sparked here in the playoffs to make a nice run.
You would imagine so, but we are nearing the about 1 minute 30-second marker here in the game. Still down one are the Tides team plus Trailblazer. We're not making fun of Trailblazer. That's literally their name. Tides plus Trail. That's not that's not us just being like, Trail, you don't belong here. It's quite literally what they named themselves. So don't write us angry letters. But yeah,
He doesn't want to have to do paperwork. Okay,
I know. Okay, I don't
that's the
want
main thing.
Danger to yell at me again, but they will even it up tonight. Plus Trail himself with a really good read here off that side corner. Cub not quite the touch he was looking for, and we onside.
I see Radical putting stuff in chat. There, that'll chomp every time that this Tides team scores, getting a little bit in the heads here of Wildside, and you love to see that.
Oh yeah, all about having fun here as long as you keep it within reason. I see a lot of players or people in chat that are like T-Segs for MVP. Now remember, I think he was that guy off the Solar, right? The one that everybody was like, "Yo, he's the best." But gotta be best all season long. Can't just have one good game and expect to squeak through to All Star unless you're Chase on, who somehow, despite the Stallions dropping the bag, has made it through to what, a All Star? I think it is. So. Maybe actually you can't have one good game and make it. But either way, we'll see him later today. As we said, we'll round the day out with single A. Time taken away now. Both teams aren't tied. In the downfield are the Tides. And get some offense going. And you feel like if you had to really, truly predict the team going into this one, I feel like it's got to be the Tides. Plus Trail as Jericho will sink that one with 25 seconds remaining. Coming back. Looking to take this first game of the best of 7 series.
I'm waiting, Radical. I'm waiting. He's not putting El Chomp in chat this time. He's taking the lead. They're taking it a little bit more seriously now. They want to get this game and hold off for the last 25 seconds of game 1 to go up in a crucial series. I think it's also kind of important, especially for the Tides, playing their full team for the most part, not in this particular game, but having their entire squad on the roster to kind of prep for playoffs a little bit, considering that those are best of 7 series, and this is really the first chance that anybody has had. Ooh, good shot by Summit. Gets through the defense and picks a spot going end to end here over the defense, and that's going to tie things up with a few seconds left on that clock. And chomp goes the chat.
Well, getting ready to see our first overtime of the All-Star weekend here. That's 3 seconds we'll take down unless Trail almost able to find that off the kickoff. Into the first overtime we go, Cubics. Who do you think's got the momentum and the edge in this one?
I think it's close. I think if since the Wild Side took that very last goal, I almost was proven wrong there. I'm going to say that they're going to have it because they scored very last second. I think they have the momentum early in the overtime, but as it gets longer, I think it's going to go back the way of the Tides, because we've seen them be more consistently good throughout the last 3.5 minutes of that game. So we'll see if they can continue to take it in this overtime, but the Wild Side looking pretty good in terms of possession so far. Yeah. And there's the goal.
As you say it, they do come through with that possession, and Mr. Taxivator will secure the dub and prevent that reverse, well, not reverse sweep, but coming back from this Tides team. And, obviously having fun with it, but definitely can. One thing about All-Star Weekend is you get to see some mistakes that you can force out of your opponents on an individual level. All right. So if you're looking at this and you're looking at the Tides, and you're like, okay, what do we got to do for these guys in playoffs? Obviously going to be very strong. Well, you can tell there are some openings here that you can take advantage of, as the Wild Side team did here in game 1. So, you want to have fun with it, but you still want to put some effort in, because if you reveal too many of your weaknesses, could be taken advantage of in the All-Star or after the All-Star weekend in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see if anybody actually uses some info from this series. I think it could be important. I think every single team, except for Cub and Stevie, if he ends up playing in the match, if they go to playoffs, everybody else in the lobby is in playoffs already. So that could be huge come playoffs time for the Otters, Tides, Terriers. So it could be interesting to see if people actually use this tactically.
It could. Now, you see in chat, Summit, he's talking about how he needs to update his RLPC ID. I know there was a lot of contention on this ruling behind the scenes, but let's give our thoughts on it here, because it's about having fun here in the All-Star weekend. We're not going to take this
and
as
it's my org.
Here's the thing. Like, I get the anger because they took the Yetis to a close game 5, and now they're one below, and not actually. I think they're still technically in playoffs right now, but they need to start winning out. I mean, you're closer to the captains, but it's like, you're getting mad at someone because your excuse was, we were just too happy to register my account correctly. It's been a thing all season long. Other teams have seen it. Like, it's in the rule book. Like, yeah, I get not every player reads the rule book, but to me, like, all this whining about that ruling is like, you should have sort of knew what was going on there.
Yeah, I think they kind of did. It was I think it was an alternate login that really kind of did it, even though it was technically the same account. They needed a different ID or something along that line. So that's where the confusion actually came in, because we didn't think going into the game that we actually needed to update the identification, because it wasn't really an alt account, but it was somehow. So that was kind of the confusion. So it's at the end of the day, it's just an unfortunate ruling, and now. Talking with the team, they got to make sure they win out, and that game against the Captains is basically going to decide the playoff spot, because Captains would then have head-to-head over the Otters if they win that, and unless the Otters also win their other game, the Captains would then have the better or at least equal record. So an unfortunate scenario right now for the Otters to be in, but that's one they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, let me give a little PSA to everybody, as this shot will go over Radical, actually, and Taxivator will score the first goal, as he scored the last goal of game 1. He will score the first goal of game 2 here. I'll get my PSA in a minute. I mean, Cubics, it's a good shot, and Radical's defense not quite there. I know he was talking in chat about eating cookies as he played, but the hand's a little too slippery on that controller.
Yeah, a little bit too greasy from the fingers in that cookie package. You know, might have to put that down for a little bit and focus up here in game number 2, or this could be a quick series.
Yeah, so my PSA, just because people keep going, well, we were never taught. One time, and the way I understand this, just so you know, is that, and because this is important to say now when it doesn't matter before we get to playoff time or next week, which is, of course, the final chance for many of the teams. I've never quite seen an RLPC season like this one, where there's so many teams that have an opportunity to get into playoffs. I mean, you look at the Centurions and the Galaxy and all them, a 3-way tie for second in their division or first. Like, it's incredible. But so Epic is different from your Steam. Think about it that way. Epic has its own unique identifiers, even if the account is through Steam and you log in through Epic to Steam. So think of Epic as another console. The way I understood it was Summit plays off a console, got his first computer, logged in through Epic, but that login is going to be different than any of the Steam logins that he had given beforehand, because Epic generates its own user IDs. Because remember, Epic Games does not want to be Steam, and they went to war with Steam and all that kind of stuff. So that's unfortunately the reality of it. Think of Epic as another account, and if you don't know if your account's registered correctly, it literally does not hurt you to mod mail it in, ever. Just be like, yo, I'm not 100% on this account. Can you make sure? I'll check for you. So a good goal does come out there as I give the little rant for the sides to even us up here. But that's my PSA. That's why the accounts are different. It's not a stupid rule. It is different. And Trail immediately off kickoff will say, no, we're not even up. We're going to go up 1.
Yeah, that's a big goal. And going back to the last one, that was one of the cleanest passing plays I've ever seen in Mav between Riot and Jericho. That was very, very clean. The ceiling from Jericho down to Radical, one touch off the backboard. Jericho lands from the ceiling, pops back up. He gets that in. Absolutely beautiful. Love to see that. And we'll see if we can get some more nice goals like that in this game number 2.
I think you love to see some of the clips that do come out from the All-Star weekend. I know we stopped doing our top 5 plays of the week because some people behind the scenes unfortunately couldn't keep up with it, but maybe we'll be able to bring those back soon enough and see what we can do. We are actually looking for more talent commentators as well as streamers, guys. So we're back to that recruiting season again. So if you feel like you want to come out and do this, what we do, feel free to apply to Media Team or DM me directly. But as I say that again, every time I try to give PSA, these guys score. The backflip from Trailblazer, and Cubnuts will once again even us up a very tight All-Star game for this starting off in Mav.
These guys really want to beat each other, I think, is part of it, because it's always been a friendly rivalry between a lot of the top guys in Mav, from what I hear. And I think it's just the next step of that. You get the best of the best, especially when it's the Tides on one squad. So, that a crazy 50 from Trailblazer gonna go in the net. Not exactly sure how this works, but Summit gets dunked on.
Yeah, he misses the ball a little in the beginning, so he corrects by using the tail end of his car. But the problem by that point is Trailblazer is in the perfect position to 50 that, and he does to the back of the net. once again putting the Tides up 1. Looking for that first win in this best-of-7 series, though not to go quietly. And, you know, they were down initially in the first game, or well, towards the end, rather, is this wild side team.
Yeah, we saw them make up a deficit in that game after letting in 3 straight. They were down 3-2, came back with 4 seconds on the clock, tied things up, took it OT and won theirs. So we've seen them make miraculous comebacks in the dying seconds already in this series. So we'll see if they can make another one happen with a lot more time on the clock. Also, fun note, I'm freaking bad now in the lobby, the Tide's 3rd member. So we'll see if they run him coming into this game number 3.
You would expect it, and we will have player interviews with either Ryotical after this one, if the Science team does win, or Summit from this wild side team. So you want to stay tuned for that all the way through this series. Ryotical looking to get an air carry, the first air carry we've seen in this series. Doesn't quite go through. A good double save there coming through from the wild side team. Though looking a little shaky now on defense, a little lost in this one. Minute left in this game too here. Covenant's able to find this one out, and finally some movement for the wild side team.
They're trying to get it out, stuck in their corner though. A little bit lost in the sauce and the passing that this Tides plus Trail team has got. Summit able to get there, puts it out to the corner, but it feels like they're throwing everything at this ball just to keep it out of the net. They only have 3 shots in this game, 2 goals on them, so they've been quality, but they just haven't gotten the quantity here to really tie things up. We'll see if they can do it in the last 30 seconds here. They had about 2 minutes to score a goal. A minute and a half of that already gone here.
Yeah, opportunity once again striking, but you see a lot of double commits do come out from this wild side team, and that is what you sort of expect sometimes from these All-Star games, right? Particularly because for teams that are not the full Tides roster, like their opponents here, you know, you're not as comfortable in comms. You're not necessarily, you know, as worried about it, and there aren't many comms there, so often double commits do happen. As we see another one there, but the final opportunity in this game for the wild side team will be cleared away by Jericho, and with that, we are even in the series, tied 1-1.
Tied 1-1, and the Tides might be up to their full 3 roster. No, Radical looking for the last laugh there, getting one for the road. Not quite going to get it, but the Tides going to win that game number 2, and it looks like they will be at full strength if they sub in freaking bad here. And they could run their full Ryotical Jericho freaking bad roster, so that would be fun to see what this wild side squad can do to that very solid team of the Tides. And that going to be a very fun matchup to see when we get there.
It would be indeed. I don't expect to see the full Ryan Reynolds maximum effort style, but we'll see what these guys can pull out. Now, you know, this game again was a close one, right? Both teams doing their own thing, but you saw, which we sort of talked about right before this game, was a lot of individual effort on both sides for these guys trying to come through, especially on the offensive end. I mean, you know, when you play players of this caliber and you're playing with players that you know have made All-Star, right? That have gone through, made All-Star, made it through the selection, all of that. You know, you want to come through, and this is a good opportunity to find maybe guys that you want to play with in ranked or to have a lot of fun, but also show off what you can do mechanically. You think these guys have so far done that for you?
Yeah, I think these guys are playing pretty well. I know the Wild Side squad did a little bit of warm up against the rest of our Otters Mav team before coming into this game. So they do have a little bit of chemistry. Been working on it a little bit, and I think we saw that in the first couple games, putting up a pretty good fight against the Tides squad. Yeah, some putting out a little PSA to remember to link your accounts. Everybody, it's coming from the man himself.
Yeah, I got the point. You don't like the ruling, but guess what? It isn't going to change. So cursing about it in chat on my stream, nope, don't do that one. But either way, we are tied 1-1 in the series. You know, going forward, so you are going to sub in. You're going to have I'm freaking bad in here, but you're going to take out Jericho. So not the full Tides roster yet. Maybe we'll see it eventually. Evolution. One day. Trail, obviously. You know, Trail deserves to be here too, and I think I really like to see that they're not subbing him out. They're letting him get to play. Not just being like, oh, well, we're the 3 Tides, so get out, you know. So I really like to see that from them. And he's been performing very well. You know, I ragged on him in the beginning just for a little bit of fun there, saying he was the problem. But obviously, he's done a lot of good this All-Star game and definitely showcasing why he was chosen for this squad.
Yeah, he's shown some great individual skill. Got a couple of nice goals here too. So lots of good things coming out of Trailblazers camp. So good to see from him, and good to see that he's sticking in the lineup as well after his great performances in the first couple games.
Ball whittling down here. Almost a minute has passed here in game number 3. And the lead looks to be going I'm freaking bad, but it is a great save coming out from Summit still, though. This Tides team looking to get a shot on the Tides plus Trailblazer. Another one will go center Trail. Get something going here. I will say that, you know, Trail, he's an underrated player, one that we don't talk about much in the season because, again, the Hornets sort of, I think, flew under the radar. And so I'm excited, again, to see what they get to do for playoffs. But this Tides team, I mean, you're obviously, it's kind of ironic. You're going to have to play them if you are this Hornets team, presumably in playoffs at some point if you make it through. How do you think they stack up? I know we are keeping an eye on this game, everybody. I like to ask these questions to see, what are your thoughts, going forward? Do you think the Hornets have what it takes? Do you think Trail, obviously friends with these boys to get selected? Do you think they are the odds that they can come back and beat this Tides team?
I think there's definitely a realm of possibility there. I think they've got some great talent on the Hornets. Obviously, Silent Wolf also one of the better players, especially defensively, putting up a 1.27, 1.27 saves per game, as well as being 5th in points in the league. So that's a great duo to have if you're the Hornets. And I think that dynamic duo can really take him to the top as well. Silent Wolf, of course, not picked for the All-Star game, but Trailblazer, definitely a great leader and a great member of that team to have here.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only can have 4 players on a team, right, for both teams, so 8 total from each league. Obviously not representative of the full scope of all the All-Star potential that is in every league, Maverick included in this case. I know many of the fans out there like, T6 number 1, so we obviously don't have him either. But either way, almost a good performance comes through here for the Sides. They're still encroaching, and finally Trailblazer will find the back of that net. The longest time it has taken in any of these games to get the first goal. Trailblazer will lead the Sides, plus Trailblazer on the first lead of this game for me.
Yeah, that's big for the Tides, I think. Radical L chomping it up in chat again. And yeah, it's been all offense for the Tides, really. They haven't been able to break through all that often. 6 shots, 1 goal. But I mean, you can't score if you don't shoot wild side. You don't have the shot yet. Come on now, boys. You gotta look a little bit more alive on the offense here. As they look to be held in their own half for most of this game, unfortunately. We'll see if they can change that here. This transition could be exactly what they need.
Yeah, pass out from Summit to Tags, but Radical just turns immediately on it, showcasing that speed he's had all season long. The Covenant's now stuck in his own corner, but finally Summit helps to clear it. Only for a moment, his Trail will wait out in the midfield, where the ball does come from Covenants to Summit, back to Covenants, looking to get something center, pops it high, but Radical with a great 50. That Fennec is not an easy body to 50 it past. And now with a miss from Taxivator because of no boost, I'm freaking bad. 1v1 Summit and sends him packing, and we are up 2-0 for this Tides plus Trailblazers squad.
The man who couldn't make it into the first couple of games, don't think he was available, but now that he is putting on a show, gets that dribble, little bop, double jump, top shelf, baby. And that's going to be the 2-0 lead for the Tides here. And shots still 7-0 in their favor. We'll see if they can hold the wild side shotless in this game number 3 as the third one goes in there from Trailblazer.
Yeah, it pops it high as I'm freaking bad. Trailblazer will just come across 2 players miss off this wild side team. And as I said, all these players know how to perform offense great. That's why they were half the reason that they were selected. But the defense was the big question for me in these All-Star matchups. Definitely the Tides team getting the better of that defensive matchup. The wild side team has struggled these past 2 games on their defensive half, and yet another mistake here almost leads to an I'm freaking bad double touch.
Yeah, they've struggled to generate offense too. So this transition play, this could be a good spark if they're able to hold some possession. The rotation there from the Tides team plus Trail, not exactly ideal. It looks like Taxivator's got a disconnect malfunction, something along that line for the wild side. So they're playing
too long, and the IRS has found him. Big unfortunate Stevie had to help the team out.
Yeah, now they're playing the 2v3. That one's gonna go in. Unfortunate. Unfortunate little miss from Summit.
Man just forgot the ball. Say it like it is.
Oh,
Forgot the
that's
ball.
who. He forgot the ball, man. Yeah, both of them forgot the ball. The entire team of Wildside forgot the ball. Tax Evader's getting a nice 160 ping. So, yeah, that's very unfortunate.
It is in the wild side. Probably just looking to get on to the next game. Tides team just having fun with it still. Tides plus Trailblazer. This touch here from Radical could lead to a goal. A great bump actually does come out from Cubnuts, and Summit will bury this one. Some signs of life back in this game for the wild side team.
I mean, you have to give props to Radical for that pass, right? Like that was a great pass to Summit there to put that one in from Radical. Yeah, an unfortunate mistouch. I think he meant to put it over the net and ended up going out in front of the net, and that's going to cause them to lose the shutout here on the one and only. Okay, not the one and only. They've now got 2 shots somehow, but they've now lost the shot shutout and also the goal shutout. And with 10 seconds left, this game is chalked here for Wildside. They'll be looking to get into the second one, but Radical says, "No, let me clip first. Let me do a little bit of have a little bit of fun off the backboard with a beautiful double tap past the defense."
Yeah, and finally we get to see the clip we knew would come out eventually. Radical just off the back wall says Tides #1 in chat. Coming through with support for his org in the final 5 seconds. We'll take down here. We will have the end of this game 3 to Tides plus Trailblazer, or featuring Trailblazer as it were. We'll take a 2-1 lead in the series, a best of 7 series, guys. If you haven't been tuning in, this is of course the All-Star weekend here at the RLPC. That's why it's not quite as intense and action-packed as maybe you would expect tuning in to us. Best of 7 series starting off with Mav going all the way through single A today, and then tomorrow we will have double A, triple A, and major to round out the all-star weekend. All of these players selected by players in RLPC for their prowess over the season. Tides are looking strong on a 2-game win streak now. I feel like they've found their rhythm, and unless something really changes here for this Wildside team, looking at yet another Tides victory, and I think they go all the way and take this 4-1.
Oh, they very well could. Looking dominant in that game. Never really gave up possession, as you can clearly see by the shots that were not got by Wildside until about the last 30 seconds. They got 2 of them to the Tides 12. So that's not a good ratio that you want to have. And also they got scored on 5 times. So that doesn't help either. But the offense has just been dominant from the Tides. They've been able to hold that possession so well. And that's really been their strong suit in that 3rd game. We'll see if the wild side here can really break out of their own half and play a little bit more up in that blue territory. As Jericho going to come in for Radical here, that could be the switch that Wildside needs.
Indeed, and a reminder, guys, All-Star Weekend here at the RLPC is brought to you by Humble Bundle. Not quite, but we actually do have a partnership now with Humble Bundle, everybody. I've been waiting to try to get the graphics out, but either way, I'll announce it. So we've got our own code here at the RLPC. I believe it's just RLPC for Humble Bundle. If you're an active purveyor of Humble Bundle, like I am, of course, one of the best games for charity websites out there. I really enjoy it and the quality of games they put out every week. So use our code if you want. I believe there's some sort of discount on it. I got to get all the details from Spadel and come back out with some of the graphics. But we do have that, so you can DM me for further information if you are interested in that. And thanks to them for partnering us here at the RLPC. And we see the start here of Game 4. You know, definitely the Wildside is not giving up here. Coming through, trying to get the first goal and even us up once again in the series. But long road ahead. You've seen the Tides at any moment come out explosive and score.
Yeah, we've seen them have their huge explosive solo play moments. One from I'm Freaking Bad in the last game, looking to do it again. He's only going to go for the pass. Radical with the double tap as well in that last game, showing some individual prowess there. He, of course, subbing himself out for this one. But yeah, we've seen a lot of those good solo plays, a lot of those pop-off moments coming from the Tides. We'll see if they can do it again.
Still trying to get it through, and I have received confirmation that Physics has just missed the game. So that's why he's not here for the Wildside team. And Trailblazer in the squad sides here will sink this first goal yet again in Game 4.
Ah, the desperation coming from Cubnuts in net. Not quite enough. He tried to go for the squishy save. I couldn't get it. And we end up finding the wild side down again here. Not really where they wanted to be. I think they would much rather have some kind of momentum at all in this game. So we'll see if they can really pick it back up, get some offense, and find the back of the net at least once here.
Yeah, they're going to need some kind of miracle to come through, and that whiff just ain't it, Chief. Jericho subbed in for this one again, will come through and score, make this a 2-0 affair, 2 minutes into game 4.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate midfield whiff. Going to go the way of the Tides featuring Trailblazer. And yeah, the 2-0 lead going their way again. It's time and time again we've seen that offense be detrimental, and some of the defensive mistakes coming out from the wild side as well. Not been super fantastic, but hey, we'll see if they can get some shots on the board. They're still held shotless in this one. They got to get something going here.
And right,
Not again.
even from spectator chat, pulls out the El Chomp Chomp. And am I the only guy that just thinks of Mario? Like when he says that, the Mario chain chomp? I don't know. That's all that comes into my head. I know.
Well, I mean, he's coming to bite your buttocks. So.
I like my version better. But either way, almost another goal goes through for the Sides. Not able to find that one there, and Cubnuts will move this out. Net in the midfield once again by the side team. Trail coming from midfield on the floater. Can't quite find that goal. Downfield the wild side to an open net. So tasted their own medicine for this Tides plus Trailblazer team. And Summit will score the first goal in several games here for this wild side team.
Yeah, that's a good little play. A nice downfield clear. Sometimes those just find space and you find the back of the net in those semi-lucky situations. And love to see that from this this wild side squad as we hit that 2-minute mark. This game still looks fairly easily in the hands of the Tides unless something drastic changes here for Wildside. They've had their 30 seconds of glory again. It didn't come in the last 30 seconds, but the last 30 seconds of this game that we're seeing from about the 2:30 mark to the 2-minute mark has been pretty decent from the offensive side of the wild side, and been able to break out, get those transition goals. And we'll see if they can continue to do a little bit more of that. Although I would like to see, again, a little bit more possession being held by Wildside.
Yeah, but finally moving it up to the side's defensive half is Wildside. So some food for thought there, and a great pass from Summit. But nobody is there. Taxivator couldn't find that goal coming through. It is a best of 7, everybody, here at the All-Star Weekend, I believe, unless I was told incorrectly. I actually wasn't told much of anything, so we'll find out. But, you know, either way, I believe it is the best of 7. It could be more than that. But either way, you know, I got to ask you, my one question, this is going to be a consistent question, so just so you know, if you could choose one player who is not in this All-Star game, who did not make All-Star cut, but who you thought, if you could pick anyone, should have made it to this field from Maverick, who would it be?
Ooh, that is a very good question. I think I'm going to go, nice shot from Cubnuts, ties up this game. Hey, Wildside, I see you. They're working on it. They're working on it. Cubnuts finding the back of the net. Okay.
Yeah, I think the tie is still in this one. As I see, we do have somebody in chat asking about drops. Listen, the only drops that we got are the ones your mama did on your head when you was a baby, asking for drops in chat. Shake my head. Isn't that what every professional esports caster says? They're like, you plebeians ask for drops? Shame on you. I'm like, well, I want my drops. But either way. So still, you have to answer the question, not let off the hook. Well, maybe you are. Cubnut says, no, let me help my boy Cubics out. Scores a banger of a shot from midfield off the pinch here. And some signs of life, Wildside. They might tie us up here in the series.
All right. Yeah, like I mentioned with the Summit goal, like sometimes those cross-field bangers just work. Just put them on net. You never know what can happen. And in that case, it goes in. And yeah, now Wildside are in the lead and are looking to bring this series back even 2-2. We could be getting at least 2 more games of Rocket League here if Wildside can hold on for another 10 seconds.
You can definitely tell they're energized after that comeback, too. Speeding along the field, looking a lot faster than they have the past 2 games. But I'm freaking bad and wants to say no. However, our great pop goes up the way of the Wildside. A weird side 2-2 in this best of 7 matchup. And Cubics, I'm coming back. Still, who deserves to be here that isn't?
I think if you just go purely based off of the sheets, just noticed in
Everybody that
chat.
didn't see it because you can't see the chat. Cub Nuts in chat goes Tides #2, baby. So some little bit of spice and energy
Love
there.
that.
But who belongs here, Cubics?
I think just going by the sheets, it's like the only player who's in the top 10 in points who's not here is, like I mentioned before, Silent Wolf. He's been a great all around player for that Hornets team, shown some great goal scoring prowess and definitely some defensive prowess as well. Like I mentioned, with that 1.27 saves per game, also has a 1.1 goals per game, looking really good all around, and definitely a big part of that Hornets team. So if I had to pick anybody, I think it would be Silent Wolf.
Interesting choice. For me, it's difficult, especially because, for me, the only association I've really had with Maverick is doing the podcast and trying to keep up with stuff like that. If I had to choose someone, again, it's sort of a big question mark. I mean, there are definitely people that I think deserve it going through that obviously aren't here today. Legend MC comes to mind, a couple other people. But honestly, I think I have to go. My number one pick, it's gonna be it's difficult, right? I think it has to be Trav off the Terriers because they were a team that we were like, they fumbled the bag in the midseason, and we're like, do they have it? Do they not? Is this team did they not get it, or are we disappointed in their performance? But they've come back at the end of the season. I think a lot of that has been behind Trav and Taxivator, who you actually get to see today. But I definitely think he would be for me that one MVP who maybe his stats aren't quite up to par, but was someone that definitely brought his team back and did his role on the squad. Did what he
Yeah.
needed to do for his role in the squad.
I think even looking just at that Terriers roster, you could even talk about Thief as being a possible candidate here. He does sit nice, but he's also only played 13 out of the 15 series, kind of a on and off kind of addition. But he's been so consistent: a 1.13, a 0.8 assists per game, and then saves over a 1.2 as well. So just all around the board, great production there. And I think that's definitely someone you could add to that list.
Well, speaking of lists, we are 2-2 tying in this series. And moving down the list of players once again, we see Radical, Jericho, and I'm Freaking Bad. So finally, the full Tides roster will come out for this team. On the other end, no substitutions. They do not have any subs in the lobby. I believe Summit is their sub, obviously losing 2 players. And a great 50 from Cub Nuts on the wild side. Who needs substitutions when you got plays like that? The wild side up 1.
I think that's also 3 straight from the wild side now. Okay, they're turning the tides here on the Tides. That was not intentional. I'm sorry. They're turning things around, and you love to see that the offense getting going here from wild side, and that's definitely a big bonus for them. They do have the only 2 shots in this game, both coming from Cub Nuts, and it's exactly what you want to see. I think Riot having a little bit of a break there after the last game could be affecting them a little bit, but we'll see if the Tides can really pick it up here in the second half. They are a secure roster, so we'll see if they can bring that team play back.
Yeah, looking to add to this one, Cub Nuts will pass this down to Summit off a miss from this Tides team. Now, full Tides roster, you'd expect a lot more cohesion, but definitely struggling right now. I saw some people in chat, Cubics, who were like, you guys missed the Yetis team. The Yetis got snubbed. Now, my only response and a question I'll end up bringing up on the podcast probably this week, as long as I can get the boys together, will be, yeah, you got the dub over Otters because of the forfeit, but you didn't get the dub in gameplay. So the question is, do they deserve to be there? You know what I'm saying? That's my question to that Yetis team. You didn't get the dub on Otters. You got the pity win. Do you deserve to be in this playoffs? And that's something I'll have to ask the boys on the desk. But either way, I think that's sort of my reasoning for not choosing a Yetis player here. There is one, of course, one Yetis player that did make this team in physics. Not quite out on this field yet.
Yeah, it took a little bit too long at a Dollar Tree from what I'm hearing.
Hopefully his mom bought him a commemorative snow globe, and hey, we're all rolling. But, who knows with that one. Either way, back and forth, we still go in this one. Tides unable to find their rhythm.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a little bit surprising for this Tides team, considering how successful they were in the first, well, game 2-3 especially, and yeah, I think they found kind of a little lull in their play right now. A lot of teams go through.
Summit?
Oh no, Summit.
Talk about lulls in your play. Summit
Buddy.
popped that molly and forgot where he was at. Homeboy
Buddy.
dribbled it in front of the net and said, Radical, you my man. And Radical, you're leaving us up.
And I know he knows better than that, too. Come on.
That's your boy out there. He's
That's
looking
my
lost. Go
boy.
get your
Come
mom.
on.
Get your boy.
Yeah, unfortunate touch. It happens. You hit the ball when you don't need to. I should not be talking to him about how to play Rocket League, to be fair. But yeah, that's a bit unfortunate there, and they let in that goal, and now they're going to need another one to win it. I hope they can come back and do it, as the only 2 shots that they have were before they scored, so nothing has really happened. The Tides have gotten 3 shots of their own, all from Ryotical. In
like
the last little bit.
I'm
Oh,
just gonna say, but as you say it,
no.
you just super caster curse it, but in an interesting way, as I'm freaking bad for the Tides. We'll add to that shot total. Score, taking the Tides up over 1 over this Wildside team.
Yeah, that's a good goal. A nice little flick play. Ryotical asking for his Baconator fries from Wendy's, and yeah, that just a nice little flick, and a good individual play from I'm Freaking Bad to get it through. That's a second dribble play we've seen. Jericho and Freaking in the same spot there for a second. Now this is an opportunity for the Wild side to maybe come through and take matters into their own hands, tie this thing back up. We've seen them win in overtime already. We'll see if they can do it again.
Yeah, opportunity. Now we have a minute left here in game number 5. Both teams tied 2-2 in this best-of-7 series. I received confirmation that it was a best-of-7. So we will be going the distance tonight on these matchups, all the way through single A. Of course, Indy after this one, and single A to round us out tonight. Which team will be our first All-Star winners? We're going to get to find out here in... We'll have to at least one more game of Rocket League, if not 2. Though the Wild side looking to be the ones take advantage of this game 5. Tides, however, finally with this clear I'm Freaking Bad, he has come out in this series, in this game in particular, for this Tides team, and performed well, even more so than Ryotical. Although Ryotical has all of the shots, you can tell that I'm Freaking Bad controls the midfield very well for these guys, and it is working, but the 50 does not go their way. The bounce, however, does up until the shot from Cub Nuts, and if the Wild side win this series, to me, he is my MVP for this Wild side team.
Oh yeah, he's been the consistent goal scorer. He's taken some lessons from some dunk masters and getting that one to go in there by pure muscle. And another late goal here from Wildside could take us into overtime again. Jericho has a dangerous boom there. That's just top shelf.
Summit?
Oh, the snipe coming out from Jericho.
Summit again.
I did it again.
I
am so sorry, guys.
Summit little lost in the sauce, makes the figure 8 there, but didn't quite get back to the goal. Just like that.
Again.
Cubics has done it again, and into the hope of the Wild side. Possibly 10 seconds remaining. Summit now with the chance to make up for it. Looking to pass center. Can he get it? No. Radical will cut this off. I'm Freaking Bad will clear it. And the Tides will now be on series points. Best of 7.
I did it again. I'm sorry.
Like you're like, my bad.
I did it twice in the same game. What are the chances of that? Anyway, yeah, that's a good way to pull it out, I think, for the Tides. They did kind of look like the better team throughout most of this game, although they did play down a little bit to Wildside, and I think we'll see what they can come out with in the next lineup. I'm assuming Trailblazer is going to be back in. And that could be interesting as well, because we've seen him be, I think, consistently one of the best players on that Tides featuring Trail team, kind of ironically. But yeah, we'll see if he can come back in and really make a big difference and make sure that the Tides can take this, what could be 6th and final game, handily.
Already a better music video title than Kanye's. But, you know, if you guys are just tuning in, this is the All-Star Weekend here at the RLPC. This is Maverick right now, so it will be our lowest division that you guys can sign up for. Remember, guys, now is the time with the last week of the season coming up and then playoffs. If you guys aren't an RLPC and want to come check us out, now is the time to do it. That way you can get processed and interviewed so you can get through next season on any team that deigns to pick you up in the draft. So definitely, if you guys are interested, if you guys like what you see and you like this sort of on stream, a community league for everybody, feel free to check us out. If you do exclamation point Discord in the chat of Twitch, it will link you to our Discord where you can come through and find out all the information you would want for the RLPC. Also do exclamation point ranks if you guys are curious what Maverick ranks are or what we're going to see today. But either way, now the Tide's up 3-2 in this All-Star Weekend bout. Of course, a best of 7, so they are on match point. I think the Wild Side takes us the distance and goes all the way to our first best of 7 for our first matchup here in the All-Star Weekend.
What a great little thing that would be to happen, wouldn't it? That would be a great little show. And yeah, exactly what you'd want on All-Star Weekend. We'll see if Wildside can come out and do it. I'd like to see another clip, to be honest. I like to see something nasty. Somebody do something nasty.
Well, as we move up, obviously, especially up in the manager, clips are probably all you'll get to see. Both teams will go for them in here. Sides almost with another opportunity to start up one early. Right able to find it by route. He puts this back in. Almost does it himself off Tax's touch. Still, though, can't quite find the back of the net. And finally, they will clear this out for the Wildside team. But not for long as Trail will find Radical, but Radical does side flip. Feels side flip, man. Ball still encroaching. Finally, Summit. With this clear for the Wildside, they can reap the sign of relief. Opportunity now is the Tide to remove this downfield. The Wildside are ready in the midfield. Now Summit, no boost. 1v2 situation. Looks for the pass, but can't quite get enough on it. Still, though, a great 50 from Tax. Almost goes through and Trail. We'll take this side. Like you said, I mean, he has been incredibly aggressive when he's out here for these guys. The full Tides roster didn't quite work out. I mean, you know, let's say we go the other way, and let's say this Tides featuring Trailblazer does win tonight. I mean, who is your MVP? Is it Trail? 'Cause for me, I'm thinking it's likely. Cubics has gone MIA on me. Just completely disappeared. Don't worry about it, everybody. You're still here with me. The Tides moving downfield. Can't find that one either. Still, though, some can't win the one-on-one. The ball flows dangerously here. The Wildside half ball out to Radical. Not a place you like to be all season long if you were playing this Tides team, to have Radical given space, ball, and time possession. But as it comes to anything, is Cubnuts between the center. Taxivator is there, and the first goal. Finally, we break the curse. And the Wildside will go up 1-0 here in the beginning of this Game 6 fanfare fiesta. I mean, you got to win this one if you're the Wildside to take us to the full 7. I'd love to see it. You obviously love to see more Rocket League here at the RLPC. But can they do it? Who knows? Cubics, have you figured out your situation?
I believe so. Then we are back.
Welcome back. As you saw, Wildside in the meantime did score first, finally breaking that curse. Once again off the back of Cubnuts there.
Yeah, huge. He's been such a big part of the Wildside team. And sorry about that. I think I have a faulty cable, so like actual hardware, as that one's going to go the length of the field. And Taxivate are going to get on the board here for the second time this game, actually. And that's a good sign for Wildside here, getting some spread out scoring from someone who hasn't had a whole lot of scoring in this series, but good to be back on that scoreboard. 2-goal lead with 3 minutes left. It's looking possible here.
It's certainly not only looking possible, looking likely, but while you were gone as well as a great shot ends up coming through from Summit. Tax almost secured that one, air quotes around the word secured there. Someone able to find this pass to the defender, and all signs point to that Game 7 affair. Still, though, I got to ask you what I asked you when you were unfortunately having those tech issues was, if you had to choose one MVP off the other side, I talked about it. We talked about having Cubnuts be the MVP of this Wildside team. Who's going to be your MVP here for this Tides featuring Trailblazer team? Is Trailblazer himself find the back of the net here? Pull this Tides team 2-2.
You know what? I don't think I could have been better timing, because I am actually going to pick Trailblazer. As someone who's not normally on that Tide squad, I think he has been the best player. Other than that double tap that Radical hit, my God, that was clean. I think he's been the most consistent goal scorer on this Tides featuring Trailblazer team. And, I mean, he's got his namesake in the team name. For goodness sake, that one very close to going, and it hits the post. It's still not in yet. Commotion in front. Radical trying to get it through. Summit with a huge save. He can't get back to save the next one. Woo! And what was a 3-goal lead? Now a 1-goal lead just like that, though.
And half the game remaining to come back for this Tides team. Definitely looking to get a little more serious, you can tell. Trying to get back into this one off the back once again. of Trailblazer. They're on match point. If they can take this one, they secure that all-star bag and go home a happy squad. Remember, guys, this is Maverick, exclamation point ranks in the chat if you'd like to know the ranks of these players. But either way, definitely coming through the wild side. You're definitely looking a little nervous. Obviously, going to their defensive half here. He's sort of sitting there, waiting it out, trying to break this game up, but a miss there. That was almost dangerous. Rodic not able to find the back of that net once again. Still encroaching is this Tides team featuring Trail. And that's the thing, you know, having fun with these team names. For anybody that's not familiar with the RLPC, is Ryotical once again. Not quite a tried and true double touch, but a great read from him on this one to tie us up. Tides v Wildside coming through there.
That angle is nasty. I'm not sure how he slotted that under the bar, but he did. And that's going to tie things up. They had to hold on to a 2-goal lead for 3 minutes. And they scored again. And then within the next rest of that minute, they ended up throwing away that entire lead. So that's not really the position you want to be in if you're Wildside trying to stay alive in this series. Of course, down 3-2 in a best of 7. So we'll see if they can come back and score yet again here in the last minute and a half. Whoa, that's a good shot, but a better save by Ryotical.
Almost just for the Wildside, they'd love to take this the full distance. Either way, again, having fun with it. Remember, this is the All-Star weekend here at the RLPC, so all of these guys are all-stars of their respective teams or of their squads chosen by their fans within the league itself. Not quite representative of what you guys would see if you guys were forced to join the league on a regular team. All that information, if you do exclamation point Discord in the chat, you will find out by coming through and doing our very quick orientation. But Wildside, they're now even with this Tides team. Want to go ahead and secure this and move to the 7th game. Tides, they'd be happy just to go ahead and get out of here off the back of the trail. Moving forward, Cubnuts, great demo. The ball floats a little dangerously on this Wildside half. And the Tides will try to take advantage. Radical with the double. Cubnuts has to try to read that. He will get the touch once again. Being that Iron Rock for his team. The Tides, though, not done. Neither is Trail. Can we get this one center? Can't quite get it past Cub. Radical is up, but Summit meets this one on the outside. Tides still feeling themselves. A lot of shots on, and you feel like if the Wildside once again can't find a way to clear this one, it's only a matter of time before this Tides team scores on.
Yeah, Tides have twice the amount of shots Wildside does right now, and even though the score is even, the Tides have been a lot more consistently getting offense. This one, boom, down, and it goes in. Another miracle here for Wildside with 4 seconds on the clock. The goal in Game 1 that took them to OT, where they won after almost throwing a 2-0 lead, was with 4 seconds on the clock, and they do it again. And with time running off that clock, is there one last chance? No, it's spiked, and we go to a Game 7 here in the first series. Of course we do.
You love to see it here at the RLPC. Game 7 of All-Star Weekend to start us off with these teams. You wouldn't ask for anything else from these guys, showcasing why they are the best of the best in Maverick. Cubnuts secures us to go to Game 7. And now I got to ask you, Cubics, who has the advantage moving into this last game?
Oh, it's going to be very tough, and I think very close. I think the Tide still kind of have the advantage. Even though they were up 3-2, they lost this game. But I think they still, even just looking at the scoreboard here, 11 shots to 7 from Wildside, I think they still do have the advantage, and they've shown that they can hold the possession a lot better than the Wildside. Although I will admit the Wildside have looked a lot better after that 5-1 loss at holding possession. That's been a lot better and more consistent from them since then. But I think they're going to have to tweak something on the Wildside to make something happen here and make something wild happen here and beat the Tides.
Well, certainly it's possible. All-Star Weekend would be the one to do it. But guys, this is the best of 7. Both teams tied 3 apiece. We'll move into the 7th game, the final game of this Maverick showcase. Before we get to Indy, there will be a player interview after this with the respective winner of one of these teams, who I honestly at this point cannot predict. Definitely has gone the distance most teams I think would have predicted this Tide squad moving through. But let us know in chat, who is going to win this Game 7? Who will be taking home The imaginary all-star trophy here for the RLPC Game 7, ladies and gentlemen. Getting underway. Cubnuts versus Radical. Radical does get the better of this kickoff, so Tax will leave this for Summit on the own wild side half. Summit beats one. Cubnuts off, so just wait. Just allow freaking bad to pass in this ball before he takes it in his own corner. Trail with the 50 there. Ball pops out perfectly for Radical and Trail. Can he pop it back into a teammate? No, a great clear from Summit, and we start moving the other way toward the wild side. Something they have struggled to do, Cubics, all series long, has been clear it. But now we're starting to see that you can tell they feel the energy of getting to go to this Game 7. And it feels like all the momentum is on their side as Cubnuts from midfield will read this 50 and give the wild side the first lead. Game 7.
Yeah, that's another banger of a shot from Cubnuts. We've seen a lot of those in this series, and that's the way that this wild side team really needed to start this thing off, with a bang in the back of the net. And that's going to give them a lot of momentum here, and I think a lot of offensive momentum that we haven't seen them have at all really this series until that last game. They started to figure it out a little bit, even with the reduced shots. They figured out a lot of good ways to get through, as Radical almost forces one through. Almost told him to hit the gym. Not quite. But yeah, they've started to figure out something on offense for Wildside, and it seems to be working for them. And definitely a much better sign here in this game. That's a good shot from Radical, though, and we are tied at 1.
Yeah, and that was born off these bumps from I'm Freaking Bad. You watch him there in the feed. He's in the net. He's bumping players. He bumps Cubnuts, and then he bumps that back defender and I believe Taxivator. This is the most serious look we've gotten from this Tides featuring Trail team so far. Definitely looking to take this one. They don't want to get embarrassed here in the last game. Coming in strong, the wild side. They have been answered after that first goal. Can they find another?
We shall see. This is a good play. Cubnuts can't quite get on it. Summit left back as the last man. If he gets bumped, that would have been a free goal. But Freakin could not connect on that bump, sadly, in what would have been a crucial play. Freakin gets it across net to nobody, unfortunately enough. And Cubnuts going to try and make a solo play. That could have been huge. But yeah, I'd like to see this ball get out of this orange half, to be quite honest. They spent a lot of time in that half over the course of this series, and we've seen some great success from the wild side when they are able to play outside their own end. They convert quite a bit on the chances that they have, as they are 1 in 2 shots already in this game and went 4 for 7 in the last one. Their offense has found something that's working, but they have to be on offense to use that something that's working, so I'd like to see them get back there.
Well, attempting to get there was Cubnuts, but not able to get this one downfield. Now Radical looking to clip again. He had the flip reset, but wasn't able to utilize it. A great cut there from Taxivator to make sure there was no open air. Giving to Radical something you have not wanted to give him on this Tides team all season long. The Radical looking to get it done for his team. We'll move it downfield. Trailblazer getting aggressive. Smelled blood in the water. It takes out someone in the midfield, disrupting that rotation for this wild side team. Now they're stuck in their own corner, Cubnuts. Can't quite read this one, so he pops it out. Unfortunately, I'm Freaking Bad. Summit was backwards, and I'm Freaking Bad shot too hard for him, flipping the wrong way. And this Tides featuring Trailblazer team find their first lead here in Game 7.
Yeah, that's big. Oh, it looked like the ball had a little bit more momentum going outside the net, but it has just enough to squeak across that line. And that is going to be the leading goal here with 2 minutes 15 now on that clock. Radical looking to make it 3-1. Not quite going to find it, though. And the lead is still 1. This looking to be a possibly promising little flick here. And an offensive possession going the way of the wild side, something that is always dangerous when they get there. This is a great pass across, but Trail is just a little bit too late. And oh, that whiff is not super fantastic, as the wild side not going to get clean possession, and that's been the big theme here for wild side. And something that the Tides have been doing a great job of shutting down in the last minute or so is not allowing this wild side team to get that possession, and something that they've been using very well. That one going to go off the bar. And this thing as close as ever. Tides really trying to find a way to get one more to go in. Floundering in front of the net. Cubnuts is the last one back. Not quite going to get it there, though.
No, and the wild side finally can transition out. About 1:15 left in this Game 7. You've got to find something soon if you're the wild side. They have it on the offense. A great 50 from Tax starts to open the field up. get the second pass trail. And, you know, as much as the 50s have led to goals for the Wild side, it feels like in their individual one-on-one plays, the Tides team has been taking it to them step for step, winning time and time again in the crucial moments of each game. Finally, though, 50 will go the way of the Wild side, and Summit will follow that 50. And once again, we are tied. 50 seconds left here in Game 7 of this All-Star Showcase.
Man, he put some power on that thing. If that didn't go barred down, I had easily, I think, would have been over 120 kph for my Canadian people. But yeah, that was a very, very hard shot off a great read. That's going to tie this thing up at 2s here with 40 seconds left. At this point, it's basically next goal wins. Shots don't matter. Goals don't matter. Saves, well, okay, they still matter. But nothing on that score sheet matters. It's just about putting it in the net one final time here.
I feel like you're acting like evil Oprah. You don't matter, and you don't matter, and that doesn't matter, and you get a fridge. But either way, you're right. Who knows? It's Oprah.
Who's
Just
kidding?
get stuff out. I don't know. But either way, as we approach the last 10 seconds, I think you're right. Last goal, especially if we get to overtime, last goal will be the one that decides it. Everything is built up to this moment, and I wouldn't have it any other way than a Game 7 overtime to start the All-Star weekend.
Of course it's an overtime, or the 0-second goal almost. But yeah, of course it's an overtime. Game 1 went to OT. Game 7 going to OT as well. And I mean, hey, Wildside came out on top in that one in just, what was it, 45 seconds or so, I think, in that overtime. And yeah, we'll see if they can do it again, or if the Tides are going to equal out that overtime record at 1-1 and take the series here. This is a great chance. Radical gonna put it on net. Come nuts with the save, keeping that one out. I don't know if it was actually going in the net, as he didn't get credit for the save, but it definitely looked like it and was definitely a really dangerous chance.
Yeah, just putting the team on his back. I'm not sure the way it would have bounced, but definitely a good play from him nonetheless to make sure it doesn't go in. But now, unfortunately, no one was there on this great shot from Radical. It ends how you would expect. Radical buries one. And the Tides featuring Trailblazer go the distance with the Wild side, but in Game 7, they will be the victors, and we will see Radical come through for an interview. I know we have run over time as well. We're already at 8:10. The Indy match is raring and ready to go. You know, not surprised by this result, though. I'm surprised by how well the Wild side hung in there, Cubics.
Yeah, they hung in there so well. It was such a close match. I mean, when you get quality players like everybody in this lobby, it's just great to see, and it's absolutely lovely. And that was just some good quality Rocket League right there, and it's only going to get better. That was the lowest league we have in RLPC. You can only imagine how much better it's going to get from here.
Yeah, we have our independent matchup coming up next, and then our single A matchup. Guys, if you want to know what that means, just type !ranks in the chat, and you guys will get to see the MMR ranges. Tomorrow will be the best of the best we have here to offer in the league with AA, AAA, and Major. To round you out, same time, 7, 8, and 9. We will be right back after we find Ryotical, get him in here for the player interview to get started with that independent matchup. Don't go anywhere.